Today I wanted to share with you how I made this cute little end grain box. The whole box is made from end grain, even the bottom, the sides, the lid, and the bottom and the lid is sitting on a rabbet. And really simple design. This is a great first project for beginners. It's only a few steps and it could be done really quickly and easily. I thought it ended up fantastic, so let's go see how it's done. Remember this box of avocats that I bought on Amazon for $42 and free shipping? Well, I promised you as we open this box that I will make a project out of it. If you have not seen that video, I'll put it in the description below. You can go watch that first. Now, I chose a board from this box, and it was one of these purple hearts that are just kind of discolored. And what I did last night, I cut it in half, and then I took another piece of wood. I don't know what this is, but I chose something like this, and I sandwiched it in between and put the two halves together and made this plank over here. And my thought for this plank was to make a bandsaw box. But this morning when I came to check on my glue up plank, I saw that the pattern here on the end grain, it looked really cool. And I thought, well, it would be kind of a waste of, cool pattern to make a bandsaw box. So instead, I'm going to slice this into thinner pieces. It will make a normal, box, not a bandsaw box, like on a table saw. So that's what I was going to do. I did cut a slice for a test piece, and I tried to do, because I didn't know what kind of joinery to do, so I tried to do a miter, and as you can see, it chipped. So because it's end grain, it's going to be a little bit finicky, and I don't think I can do a miter joint or a finger joint for this. So I will do a rabbet joint. That's what we will do for this box. The box is going to be quite small because I want to use end grain for all the sides and the bottom. So the top, in order to use this as a lid, it can only be about this size. So let's go cut this into pieces and make a box. Now I could definitely cut these slices on my table saw. My blade does come out this much, but I feel like that wouldn't be so safe. There's so much blade exposed. So I don't really want to take the risk of cutting this on the table saw, especially working with a small block like this. So I'll be cutting this on my bandsaw. Now I'm going to make my slices pretty thin because this is going to be a very small box, and your thickness of your material should be directly proportional with the size of the box. If I would make a small box like this and it had the 3/4 inch material, it would just look really weird and, not proportional. So I'll be making pretty thin slices. What size, you might ask? I have no idea. I set my fence to what kind of looks right to me, and I'll be cutting 4 sides that will make my box. And for that, I am using my Harvey C14 bandsaw, and I'm using a 1/2 inch blade. For resawing, you would want to go with the biggest blade you own. I have a 3/4 inch blade, but I already had a 1/2 inch on my bandsaw, so that's what I'm going to use for this. Now, sanding some small pieces like this is not the easiest thing. So what I will do is I took this 3/4 inch plywood, put it on my bench table. I'm going to line all 4 pieces like this. And then I cut some thin strips of 1/4 inch plywood, and I will build a border like this. That way they don't move and I can sand them all the same time. To attach this plywood to my base, I will just use double sticky tape. That way I can remove it easily afterwards and, change the design if I have to sand something that is bigger or smaller later on. So let's see if we can glue this down. There goes one. Now with my pieces all sanded, it's starting to determine the width. So the sides pieces, how big that will be. And remember I told you this one of these guys is going to be my lid. So I cannot have a box that is wider than this. So how do we determine what kind of width we need? Well, I know I will have two long pieces that are the sides. And then I know if I put it like this, those are my two sides, the long sides. And then I'm gonna put this like this, and I'm gonna mark it where this board ends. And then that is exactly how much we need to cut our width. Now you guys saw me in that little clip. I was holding the piece with the push block. Please do not put your fingers next to the blade. Be safe. Those are very, very tiny pieces. And what I use is just a scrap piece of wood. This is some oak that we did ebonizing on this side when I made that video. And I put some sandpaper on the edge, and that makes it very, very grippy. So that piece is no way is moving. It also has a little heel. If I need it for pushing, I use this one on the router table. So that's what I used for that. Now we have our sides cut, and we need to move into our next step. I'll be using rabbet joinery for this box. So that means I will be cutting the rabbets into the long pieces, and the short pieces are going to sit into the rabbets. So I'm gonna go about halfway on the width of the material, and then these sides are going to sit there, and we'll get a nice, continuous line. In addition to the rabbets that I am going to put on the long pieces to accept the short pieces, I will also add rabbets to the tops and the bottoms to all four pieces. And that is because my bottom is going to fit in the inside sitting on the rabbet, and it's going to be longer than the rabbet, so it looks like feet, so it gives you a shadow line on the bottom. And then the lid is going to sit in the rabbet as well, and it's going to stick out past the box, so you have something that you can hold it by to lift the lid. Now I will raise my blade to about half the thickness of my material, maybe something like that. And then I'll bring my fence all the way to the blade and lock it in position. I'll be running my piece through the blade and then do the other side as well. And then I'm going to shift the fence just a little bit to the right, and I will make another pass until my short pieces will fit perfectly into those rabbets. So that's the way I will do it. I made the rabbets for the long sides, and you can see the short side is going to fit just like that into the rabbet. And now I'll pretty much do the same thing with all four pieces, the top and the bottom, to accept the bottom and the lid. I made all the rabbets, so each piece looks something like this. The rabbet that will hold the lid, I made it just a tiny little bit deeper. And this is how the box is going to go together. It's going to be just like this. And then let's see, the short pieces fits within the long pieces. I have to make sure that I put the bigger rabbet on the top for the lid. And it's gonna look something like this, and the rabbet on the top is going to hold the lid, and then the rabbet on the bottom is going to hold our bottom piece. For the glue, I'll be using Tide Boundary. I have it here and on a ketchup bottle. I think it works the best. And of course, I'll use my Crocodile Original Wet Cloth. I love these things, they never get dry. And this is what I'll be using to clean my finger, because I'll be using my finger to spread the glue. And of course, remove as much squeeze out as you can. And now when our box is drying, it's time to cut two more slices, one for the bottom that is gonna also be like feet, that is gonna elevate the box a little bit, and then one for the top. For the top one, I wanted to cut thicker just so it gives you some room to hold it with your fingers to be able to open the lid. So the bottom one is going to be the same thickness as the rest of the box, but the top one is going to be maybe double the thickness. So that's what I'll be doing now. It's been about 40 minutes since we glued up the walls of our box, and I think now it's time to cut to size the bottom so we can glue this one in place too and let it dry so we can make the lid. So as you can see, we could have made the box way wider. I don't know what I was thinking. I miscalculated. We had a little bit more room, but you know, this is the size we made it, so we'll go with this. So I have to cut this blank to fit into the rabbet on the bottom, and I made this one taller so that way it has a little bit of, you see, we'll give it like a shadow line. It will be like feet, so we'll elevate the box like that. To size this, I could do it on the table saw with my sled like I did it before, but I will try something different today. I'll be using my shooting board. If you do not have a shooting board, you can absolutely make one. There's plenty of tutorials on the internet how to do it. I did not make mine. I bought mine from Lee Valley Tools, and it's absolutely not worth it if you're thinking about getting one. It's a great tool, but it's way too expensive for what it is. And like I said, you can make your own. So just watch some videos online. I'm sure you can make it. I have to make sure I'll take a couple of passes from this side, and I'll take a couple of passes from this side because I kind of want to keep the light stripe in the middle. So that's what I will do. There we go. All right, and now we have a nice fit. This is going to fit right into it. So I'm gonna put some glue, and I'm going to glue this bottom piece over here. All right, so I put some glue. I try not to put too much. I don't want to get too much glue squeeze out, as it will be very difficult to remove from the inside. So I put some glue, and I am just going to fit this piece in there, push it in, and you see we have a reveal. That's gonna be our shadow line. And I do have some squeeze out on the inside, so I'll have to clean that. And of course, I'll use my wet wipes to clean the glue. Then I'll be working on the top. Remember the lid, I cut it a lot thicker, so it gives us something to grab on to lift the lid. And I'll do the same way. I'll use the shooting board, and I'll make sure it fits. And by the time I will be done with that, the glue should be pretty dry. Here is what our box looks so far. I think it's super duper cute. We still have a little bit of scratches from the band saw that I did not sand very well, but you know, I think it gives a character, and you know, I got tired of sanding. But anyway, this is the base. You see it sits, gives it a little shadow line. This is our lid that fits right on the rabbet. And now it's time to apply the finish. For the finish, I'll be using Oddies oil. I'll put the link in the description below if you want to purchase the same thing. This is an all-natural, food-safe, waterproof finish, and it's so easy to apply. You just stir it, rub it in, and then wipe it out. And this is what our finished box looks like. I think it ended up really, really cute. What do you think? The proportions, maybe they're not the most right, but I think it's still really cute. If I would do it again, I'll probably make it shorter and wider, but it's still really cute. I like it.